I'm a very emotional person, and me personally, reading the book has been hard to get through. I think I've made it a little over halfway, but just like hearing other people, like hearing friends that I know starting it and reading it, and just hearing them say, man, Katelyn, I knew what you went through, but I didn't realize the extent of it, is like, makes me emotional because, you know, a lot of people don't know the extent of it. So just hearing them tell me like, wow, I didn't realize what you went through, just is like touching, because going through it, you're like, oh, that really wasn't that bad. But then reading back, you're like, oh my gosh, how did I do that? How did my parents do that? So, you know, seeing your parents, all the focus is like on the child. No one ever thinks about what the parents go through. So reading in the book, I think that's been the hardest part for me to get through the book, has been reading. Like back then as a kid, you don't realize that you were scared for your life, but you look back and read that your mom was also scared for your life too, whenever she's the one that's like has it all together, you think, and she's the tough one. So like just reading that's been difficult, seeing like your parents like a different perspective, because you don't realize how much it affected them too, and how much faith they had to have to just keep doing what they did, because so many people and doctors, you know, were either discouraging, saying, oh, she's not gonna live or something like that. So like, yeah, it's just different now knowing what your parents actually thought, because yeah, as a kid you don't think about that at all. You just worry day to day if you're gonna make it or not. In sports, basically everything that you do is on a play-to-play basis. You don't know whether or not you're gonna tear that ACL and never play again, you know. You don't know whether you're gonna have Tommy John surgery, not be able to play again. A lot of times I would lay in bed and just think about if I was gonna wake up, you know. A lot of times, like she mentions in the book, that when like scary things would happen to me, I would ask her if she could pray for me, just because I knew that even as a young kid, I know that prayer works, you know. It's the only reason why I'm here. It's the only way we can talk to God. And so we would pray, gosh, I don't even know, all the time, every day, multiple times a day. Going to sleep was like the hardest part, because also a lot of times when I would get new pacemakers, or if my pacemaker was messing up, I would get to where I'd go to sleep and my heart rate set at 60 beats per minute is like the low. And so once your heart rate, you know, when you're sleeping, it drops 50, whatever. Well, my heart rate would drop and my pacemaker would like kick in, and it would make me jump and I would get scared. And that's why I never wanted to go to sleep. A story that I always like to tell is my mom. Well, so when I was a kid and I started staying the night at a friend's house and stuff, I would be fine all day. I would play with my friends all day. But then when it would get to going to bed, I hated to sleep over. I would call my mom at like midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., whatever. A lot of times she would tell me to toughen it out, make me stay. But a lot of times she would come get me. And I never wanted to stay because she's just been there with me through it all. And I always thought, you know, if something were to ever happen to me, no one knows what to do except for her. So whenever I was younger, I guess I got baptized. I remember in 4th grade, which I don't know how old that makes you, 9 maybe. I got baptized right before one of my surgeries. And I knew, I've always gone to church, always been a Christian, grew up with a Christian family. But then I remember getting baptized, and I wanted to be saved because, I love God. But I remember I specifically wanted to be saved because you never know, like, I didn't know if I was going to make it out of the surgery, And then what happens? It's either heaven or hell, and you have to make a decision. So, and that was about the same age as what I realized, like, how serious things were. Before that, like, you don't really realize that you're too young, but after that, you realize, like, how, like, serious things are. So, looking back to where I came from to who I am now, and how, like, such good health I am in now, I go back to where my mom, like, I've been to where, like, you just want to give up. Something that I specifically remember is, after a lot of surgeries, and I've lived in that chair we were sitting, and I've had to, like, have my mom feed me because I can't lift my arms because I'm in so much pain. And she's had to, like, give me showers too because I just can't do it. I've been in the situation where you can't do anything yourself, and I've been in so much pain, like, in my life, to where now I can, go into college and play softball, and I could throw a softball, I could pitch it underhand, my chest has been cut open at least 8 different times, and for all those muscles to work again, it's just a miracle in itself to be able to do those things after what I had been through. I think this book is beneficial to read for any age group, any type of person, because it not only has a story about health, it has story about just life in general, It talks about how my siblings dealt with what I went through. It talks about my grandparents' perspective, different people's perspectives of seeing from the outside looking in. My friends have lived through it, and they can hear the full story now. And I just think it's encouraging knowing what my family went through and continues to go through, I still have it, even though it's under control and everything, God will heal me someday, but just knowing that God never leaves you, and He's never forsaken my family, and He'll never leave you or forsake you, as long as you stay on the path and follow Him and follow His word and do everything that He wants you to do. So